What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. Hey, today's all about 20K service on a Softail. That's right. We're going to be doing a 20K service on the Softail, and we're going to go over everything you need to do in that 20K. Some of the big points are changing your fork fluids, changing your spark plugs, going to check the charging system. We're going to go through and do a critical bolt fastener. That's right. We're going to check every critical bolt. Now, I've asked a lot of people in the past, what does critical fastener mean? Now, professional Harley mechanics and everybody that I've talked to can't answer me or give me a definitive answer of what a critical fastener is. So what I do is if I could see the bolt, I will put a wrench or a socket on it, and I'm going to check it for the proper, well, make sure it's tight. If it's loose, then I'm going to look up the torque spec and torque it properly. So that's the important stuff about doing a 20K is your fork oil, your spark plugs, so you can replace those. We're also going to change the motor trans and primary. And, you know, we're going to check clean the air filters. We're going to check all his tire pressures. We're going to check tire wear, his brakes, brake pads. We're going to check the amount of moisture in his brake fluid as well. So, and we're going to go through the whole bike front and back. So without any further ado, we're going to dig right into it. All right, guys, we got here set up. I got the derby cover off. I got the drain pan underneath it. Now what I need to do is get my 5/8 socket and ratchet, because what we're going to do now is we're going to start draining our fluids. And right now I am using my new GoPro Hero 11 and my GoPro Hero 10 on the new gimbal. So hopefully you guys like the new videos that I'm doing. It's going to be a lot more work for me as far as editing goes, but we're going to get everything happening under here. All right, I'm going to need an extension for that. So let me grab that. Guys, tell me in the comments down below, do you service your own bike? Do you like to service your own motorcycles? Do you pay the dealership to do it? I'm kind of curious what everybody has to say about all that. You know, what they do and what they don't do as far as service. And now that I got that out, let's see, can we put the little gun on it and zip it out? Yes. There's your motor oil. All right, now we're going to do the primary. And I will, you know, fast forward a lot of this stuff because it is boring. And I get it. Okay, there's the motor, there's the primary. Now we're going to go on the other side and do our transmission. So let me grab our gimbal with the GoPro Hero 10. All right. See if I can get you guys to look here on where the transmission drain is, which is, let's see, can I do it? It's right here where my finger is behind the frame. So let's get this one out. We'll start draining everything. Oh, Gorilla Tight. Nothing has to be Gorilla Tight, guys, but a lot of people think they have to make them Gorilla Tight because they're afraid, I guess, they'll vibrate and fall off, but that's not the case. All right, a little bit of mess on the fingers, no big deal. All right, we got all three fluids draining at once. And the important thing here, guys, is we're going to be changing the O-rings on all three drain plugs. Now that we're draining, we'll pull out our dipstick. And we're going to get our Allen wrench, which is a 3/8 for the transmission. And just so you know where that is. Sorry about the lighting, guys. I do have a light coming for the GoPros. That's going to help out a lot. So I am, like I said, I'm always investing in this channel, getting better equipment, to really add things, move things along. All right, so while we're here, I'm going to take a look at our brake pads. Let me get a flashlight. What do you guys think so far? A little bit of everything here. All right, so let's grab a flashlight. Oh, his brake pads are about 50% worn in the front. In the rear. The front is in good shape, but I will definitely let him know that his brake pads are 50% worn in the front. In the rear. All right, so now we're going to go around and we're going to just take a good look at the condition of the bike. All righty. So we're going to, first thing I'll put in is our primary. And before I do, anything with the closing up the primary, I am most definitely going to be readjusting his clutch. Yes, because a clutch adjustment is always good to do every time you take off your derby cover. No, not every time, but it's every 10,000 miles you should check your clutch adjustment. And how do you check your clutch adjustment? That's a very good question. Well, and I'm going to show you in about 2 seconds here. All right, so let's grab our handy dandy new gimbal. I like it. All right, guys, so what you're looking for here is a little bit of play, like the width of a nickel right up in here. And as you could see, there's no play in that. So that clutch is actually adjusted too tight. And usually when people adjust their clutch, they'll adjust it at the cable and say, yep, that's my clutch is adjusted, which is not correct. I got our drain plugs back then and I got them properly torqued. And believe it or not, there's not a lot of torque. Basically is as soon as you feel the O-ring bite, just tighten it a little bit. Don't over tighten it, and don't, leave it loose. So, your primary takes 1 quart of oil. And for those of you down in Biketoberfest in Daytona, I am jealous. I wish I was there, but I couldn't get there this year. Actually, I haven't been there since 2019. So I'm due to go back to Biketoberfest. And, who knows what the future will bring. I like Daytona Bike Week. I got friends down there that I always see and hang out with. They're good people. All right, so when you put your derby cover on, as always, make sure that, if there's oh, my arm is in that camera. Sorry, guys. If there is any printing on there or etching, like this is etch 103, make sure that it is facing in the proper orientation. So there's my phone dinging off. Wonder who's trying to reach me. Well, we'll find out in 2 seconds. Alrighty, so we're going to close up our derby cover now that it's serviced. We're always going to go in the proper torque sequence with this. All right, so I'm going to take you guys on the other side as we fill the motor oil, because we already started filling. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Hey. And I'm going to show you a trick what I do for filling the transmission, so you don't have to stand there and hold it. I believe I already showed this a couple times, but I'm going to show it again. So I'm going to take my funnel, stick it in. Actually, I can use a regular funnel. I'll have to use this one. So let me get a normal funnel. My phone is blowing up. Just a bunch of people talking about plans for tonight. So, bam. Now I take a quart of transmission using Amsoil as always. So here we go. Oops, sorry. Still learning the gimbal, guys. So we're going to add our transmission in there. And as that's being filled, we're going to do the motor. I already got 1 quart in there. Actually, half a quart. This is usually about 2.5 to 3 quarts. So I started with the half quart. Now I'm going with the full quart. And I can finish off the transmission fluid as that all drained. And you can hear it glug, glug, glug. Hey, what oil do you guys like to use in your motorcycle? Why don't you leave me a comment down below and let me know what oil you guys like to use. Do you like Amsoil? Do you like Redline? Do you like Mobil 1? Do you like the Harley-Davidson Sin 3? You know, what oil do you like to use and why? All right, let me finish this off and we'll continue on with this 20K. All right, so we're getting there, slowly but surely. And guys, let me know, do you find my videos helpful, needful, wantful? Is there anything different I could show you? Like I said, I show you what comes in the shop. I really have no control over what everybody needs done on their bike. But I do have somewhat control what I need to do on my bikes. And you guys got to keep an eye out for some videos next month all about going from a bone stock Harley to a complete stage 2. All right, there's 2.5 quarts. All right, so let's close up the transmission, the oil. So yeah, that's going to be fun because it's going to be camshafts or a camshaft on an M8 with an oil pump cam plate. And I'm going to go over the differences between a stock cam plate and the S&S cam plate, the stock oil pump versus the S&S oil pump, the cam tensioners from S&S, the tappet cuffs from S&S, all that fun stuff. And you know, it's got stock head pipes and everything. And when I get done with this bike, it's going to be going up to the dyno for dyno tuning. So guys, I want you to watch out for that video series, because I'm not going to do it all in one video because it's going to be long and nobody's going to want to watch a long video. All right. So now that the oil service is done, we'll move along. All right, guys, moving along here. we're going to replace the spark plugs. I went and got the spark plugs yesterday. Today's a whole new day. And I also got the rear brake pads. There'll be a separate video on how to replace the brake pads on this 2013 Fat Bob. So if you're curious what the part number is for your spark plugs, it's a GR612 is the plug number. Part number is 32362-04A. And these are direct from Harley-Davidson. And yes, I did get the spark plugs from Harley-Davidson. There actually is a difference between the spark plugs you could get at an auto parts store and from a motorcycle shop. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If you buy spark plugs for your motorcycle, I always end up opening the wrong end of these boxes. All right, and you see this little tip. If this tip threads on, that's not the right spark plug for your motorcycle. That has potential of loosening up and creating resistance, which will lower the amount of spark that you're getting. So, but if you do in a pinch need to get spark plugs, and that's the only thing that you can get, and go ahead and use those, but make sure that that tip on there is good and tight. I mean, I would even go as far as say, put a little red Loctite on there and tighten it up. Then this way, you know the chance of that thing loosening up and creating unwanted resistance into your spark plug and actually making your spark worse. All right, so while you got your spark plugs out, you know, I already showed you what these look like. Actually, I didn't. Here's the spark plugs. They're kind of rusty, but if you look right down in the center, the core isn't that bad. But they're old. It's a 20K service. It's something you want to do. And when you replace your spark plugs, make sure you get a good feeler gauge. And you want to gap these to 40 thousandths, just like that. And if you don't have a good, feeler gauge, then I suggest you get one, because believe it or not, your spark plug gap is everything. I don't know how much you want me to go into detail about spark plugs. If you guys do have any questions about spark plugs, feel free to leave me a comment down below and ask. I'd be more than happy to share that information with you. Hopefully everybody saw the video yesterday about the fall ride up into Otis, Mass. Yo, Otis, my man, you boys mind if we dance with your dates? Great movie. My favorite part of that whole part was when he looks at him and says, "Why, no." And then he goes, "If I was you boys," they answer with, "I'd be leaving." Right. That's a great movie. I loved Animal House. Oh, I have it. Probably going to watch it again here soon. Probably after Halloween, because, now we're doing all the spooky, freaky stuff. Hey, guys, Halloween in my neighborhood is like an extravaganza. It's huge. And I go all out. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys are interested into seeing what our Halloween is like here in my neighborhood. If you're not interested, then, I won't even put up a video. But if you guys want to see it, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll make sure they get out there. Okay, now I'm at the point where I am ready to go around the bike and start checking all the fasteners. So this is a 12.10 millimeter. This is for your front brake caliper. That's nice and tight. That's nice and tight. I'm gonna go around to the other side. Now his front brake pads are in good shape. I still have to measure the moisture content in here, and I also have to, I want to check the front fender strut. And that is a 1/4. So right there. And on the inside of it, you take a 1/2 inch wrench, because it's a nut and bolt kind of a scenario. Oh, see, that one was a little loose. So we'll check another one. That one was nice and tight. Nut and bolts will loosen up on you guys from vibration. So it's important that you go through this every time, another loose one, every time you do your scheduled service. On all the Harley scheduled services, it tells you to check critical fasteners. Now, again, nobody's told me what a critical fastener is. So I look at it. If I can see the bolt, I'm going to look at it. Put a wrench on it and see what's going on. As far as safety things that we don't want falling off. Like this is a 1/2 inch. Let me grab that. Yeah, it's only the horn cover, but I don't want something like that falling off. I know our shifter rod is tight because I had to remove it from here to get to the oil filter, and then that's tight. Made sure that was tight at the same time. Fuel line looks good. There's no leaking. There's no oil leaks anywhere, which is good. Okay, I need a T40 and a 3/4 inch socket to check the rear shocks. So let's do that. Okay, get on that. All right, moving down to the rear shocks. Look at that. All right, T40. Oh, nope, bigger than that. All right, 3/4 inch. I thought it was a T40. I'll have to find out and let you guys know. All right, that one's tight. That one's tight. Is it a T47 maybe? Yep, T47. That's tight. That's tight. All right, now we want to check our axle nut. That's important. The last thing you want is that axle nut coming off, especially without the E-clip on it. I tried to get one, but nobody had them in stock that size. They had them smaller, and they had them larger. Oh, that's good and tight. We'll check our belt. That's got the perfect amount of play. Now we'll check our backrest. Or our fender struts, I should say, not just the backrest. And I believe these are 7/32. Yep, that was a little loose. That's a little loose. And the final thing I'm going to do on this is I'm going to check the lights. And all the bolts for the fender struts were a little loose. All right, that's it for the left side of the bike. Now we get to move on to the right side of the bike. And I'm putting my tools away as I use them. All right, so I'm looking here at the bike. Like I said, the air filter, he has a new one that he's got to oil and put on, so I'm not going to worry about it. I did tighten this up. I know his oil levels are good. Check his ground cable, that's good. Peg mounts, make sure they're good. Rear brake pedal is good. All right, now the last thing, like I said, is we're going to check the lights. So we're going to go with right turn. That works. Well, here we're going to do brakes. Front, back. Now I'm going to do the left turn. That works. Horn. Flash to pass. High beam. And that's it. All right, guys, and that's it for our 20K service on our 2013 Fat Bob. Now, things I left out, changing the fork oil. You see me take forks apart in different videos. Checking the brakes, you see me do that. So just not so everything's so repetitive. All right, guys, if you've had any questions, leave me some comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and smash that bell notification. This way I'm notified every time I upload a video. Until the next one, you live the best life you can. Ride often and ride hard.
Like and subscribe to Dr. Harley. Subscribe, Dr. Harley.